The Mango After Hours podcast is provided for general information, personal use, and entertainment purposes only. We do not verify or independently confirm stories, claims, or statements made by guests. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host, producers, sponsors, or affiliates. Nothing shared on this podcast should be considered legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions based on this content. Mention of specific brands, products, individuals, or businesses does not imply endorsement. All trademarks are the property of their respective owners. If you disagree with something shared on this podcast or believe there is another side to the story, reach out. We may invite you to share your perspective in a future episode. Now sit the fuck down and enjoy the show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 23. And today on the podcast, we got a disruptor, a cannabis industry disruptor. Before we bring him out, we're going to give a thanks to our sponsors. I'd like to thank Trollmaster, the future of intelligent farming, the most used cannabis controller in the world, soon to be in the agricultural industry for crops. Keep looking for it because we're going to make a splash in food production. Think LED, the best lights in the industry. One of the first lights that ever brought spectrum tuning to the cannabis industry, and we're flourishing. We're ahead of the game, way more ahead than most. Mango juice, if you're not juicing, you're losing. And last but not least, the Mango Tech Store to provide this great space to host a podcast. Let's get back to our guest today. Today we have Kyle Loucks, the industry disruptor. I'm going to call him the disruptor, not in a bad way. He's just he engineered a badass piece of machinery, and he is turning heads in the industry. And there's going to be a lot of people out of a job, I would say. Sounds mean, but the machine is pretty badass. Maybe he doesn't like me saying that.
hey. We're elevating people's careers here.
But it is true. And you know what that happens in the industry. It's happened. Hey, you know what? The freaking car came out and it put the horse and carriage out. You know what I'm saying? It's just and then they laughed. The car wasn't going to last, and then what happened? So just like anything else in the industry evolves. Okay, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at him. We're getting better at everything. Same thing with just cultivation. You name it. Pretty soon there's going to be a machine that fucking defoliates too. And my guys are going to look at me like, no job for me. So, but anyway, what's up, Kyle? How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. I friggin' love any time I can come down to Cali. You know that. It's beautiful down here. And yeah, you don't have to. You can call me a disruptor. I embrace it. I worked for a lot of big companies, and I was told every day to just mind or stay in my lane, right? And I hated that. That just hurt my soul, and so I just embraced that I was a disruptor, and I truly wear that badge with pride. So yeah.
So, by the way, anybody that doesn't know his background, he's an engineer. He's an engineer. From what I read, he never really cultivated, but he smoked a lot of pot.
No, I cultivated once.
You said one plant.
One plant. It was in college, okay. And I had a little hydro setup. My buddy worked at Sunlight Supply back before it was Hawthorne. Okay. Got a little setup, got a tent. And yeah, it was great. I grew one. It was a Blue Dragon. I don't know if you remember that.
Never heard of Blue Dragon.
It was Blue Dream crossed with Green Dragon.
Okay.
So it actually lived on a little while. My brother and my best friend cultivated it for a while. And I got to be a king for a week giving weed to all my friends.
All right, cool. Awesome. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is the gentleman that invented the RollPros machine.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard about RollPros, better crawl from under that rock because, it's all over the interweb, as I call it, social media. Instagram is the new hottest tool in town. It's pretty badass. I've seen it work, and then we're probably going to cut some clips from this morning's tour at Sweet's place over at Skypack, where there's two machines. We have the original Blackbird that rolls smaller joints, and then we have the new model that is called the
XXL.
XXL, because it rolls the big boys, the big doinks, as they call them. You can put a glass tip on that thing, ceramic tip, paper tip, you name it, and they're pretty badass. So before we get into the RollPros thing, I wanna dive back into how the heck is this engineer, ended up designing rolling machines. I believe in the form that we have the guests fill out, so I can kind of direct the conversation. you were somewhere in the East Coast.
No.
No, not East Coast. Well, you said I read that your dad went to for his first beer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, gosh, yeah. If you take it back, like, almost before I was born.
I did my homework.
Yeah,
I did my homework. I
Yeah,
did my homework.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
it was in the East Coast.
It was close. It's Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay, so not quite the East Coast. What do they call that? The
Yeah,
Midwest.
yeah.
The Midwest. Okay. Not the
Yeah.
West Coast. The Midwest. Okay. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, so his story was, yeah, he was working in a grain elevator and he had traveled to the West Coast, Hood River, Oregon.
Go back for a minute.
Yeah.
Grain elevator, because I did read that. Grain
Yep.
elevator. Well, so what the hell? You just operated the elevator, go up and down, or
No, I mean, it was that was at a flour mill, so he was bringing in like wheat and they were drying it and then they would pulverize it, turn it into flour.
Okay.
And the grain elevator is where you store all the grain. So you bring it off a train, you dry it, you put it in a silo. And so, a lot of automated, old school automated equipment, right? But yeah, he was kind of fresh out of school, working in this grain elevator, and yeah, he's an avid windsurfer, so I am too. He passed that on.
Iowa?
Yeah. So
In the lakes?
yeah,
Okay.
you're chasing storms, so you're
Okay.
like watching a storm come in and.
Interesting. Iowa. I
yeah.
figured he would have moved to Hawaii or Florida or something.
Well, so Hood River, Oregon is a premier windsurfing spot. And so he would come out there and do his like surfing safari, he called it.
Okay.
And he had his first micro beer back in, I think it was 1986 or 87.
I read that in Oregon.
In Oregon.
He
yeah.
fell in love with it. He says,
Yeah.
he fell in love with it. Okay, like this is my jam.
Yeah, and he was like, dude, this is gonna change the beer industry, and he really believed in it so much that he moved his whole family from Iowa
How old
out
were
to
you?
the West Coast. I think I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Really
all right.
young.
Little toddler.
Yeah, just a little kid.
Okay.
And he moved us all out because he really believed in this product, the micro beer.
Okay.
And he further built his career in malt, because malt is what you use to make beer, and he was a salesman to all the microbreweries. And everybody kind of like, they didn't really believe it or believe that the micro was going to be a movement, right?
I was at the very, very beginning, I'm assuming, so, because, there was obviously a bunch of beer manufacturers when it was started, and then just like anything else, the little guys get bigger, and the bigger guys start buying up the little guys and putting them out.
Yep.
And it was like, back then it was like Budweiser, I'm sure, Coors, Miller, all those kind of things. So the micro thing was kind of like, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting your time. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
not gonna work.
There's a lot of doubt, right?
Okay,
A lot of hate.
Uh-huh.
But he kind of saw something that was more than what the public saw, right? And I always kind of share my vision a little bit with that when I'm like, I saw that with cannabis, where it's like, this is something that the people are gonna want, and I pursued it. I jumped in, head first, just like he did.
So when we moved you guys out to the West Coast, and I think you said it was Vancouver, Washington?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right across from the way from Portland.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it was kind of, how far away from the beach were you?
I was about 2 hours from the coast.
Okay, so still a little bit of a drive.
Yep.
And he drove up and down, whatever, selling malt to all these things, and then you obviously went to started school there, elementary, middle school, high school.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. And then, what point was your first experience with cannabis?
So, gosh, it was out of a pop can.
Like soda can?
Or
Oh,
beer
old school,
can,
baby.
yeah.
That's right. They don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all these heady boys would freaking trip out.
I know.
You get a Coca-Cola can. For those of you guys that don't understand,
Do people not know that?
Oh,
I
a
thought
lot
that
of
was
people.
common
Dude,
knowledge.
that shit-
Like,
no. So you drink a beer or a Coca-Cola can, all right? And if you're health conscious, listen to this way. If you're health conscious, you scrape the paint off the can.
Yeah, no.
The paint off the can. You divot, and then you stick holes in there with a pen, a knife, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
And then you put a hole on the side. That's your carb. You know?
Yep.
That's your carb to clear the can.
Dude.
You put your Reggie on top,
Oh
or
my
maybe your
God.
skunk, whatever, and then you do a bull hit. You know what I mean? You do a bull hit, and no carcinogens, nothing. It's just just get high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, super clean, very
Very
clean.
clean.
Oh, very. It's very eco-friendly.
Very
We're
friendly, yes.
recycling.
Recycle the aluminum, absolutely,
Yeah,
yes. So I'm very familiar with that. Okay, so your first hit was out of a freaking Coca-Cola can, or at least it wasn't even a beer can?
Oh, it might have been I think it was a beer can. It was beer. I know.
That's it. Is that Budweiser? You cheating on me?
And so that was my first experience, and the whole mantra. My parents are from the Midwest, so it's very like weed is bad, which I do. I still tell my kids, you should wait. It's not good for adolescent minds.
Right. So I was going to get into that. So then you smoked weed about what age roughly was the first thing?
I was probably like 17, 18.
Okay, and so when did your parents find out, catch you, smell it? They had a conversation with you.
I was always I got caught with beer all the time, and I didn't really get caught with the weeds. Like that was more my brother was way more into that, and
older?
So younger actually.
Oh, younger brother. Oh
just
shit.
Yeah.
He was the reckless one. He got caught.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
he rather you. He does it.
I'm bringing. No, actually, we had a bro code.
Who taught you that? Where'd you see that from?
Dude,
Kyle.
Dude, no, the brothers, we banded together. We were like.
How many?
3 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sisters?
No sisters.
Okay, right.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on with girls. Like, I'm still figuring that out.
Aren't we all? When you find out, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll write a book on that one. Then we'll make millions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so he kind of was always more into it. He was like a semi-pro snowboarder, skateboarder. Like he was like always doing those like adrenaline pushing sports, and so naturally he was kind of more in that crowd, and so but he was the one that's
the crowd that's getting high.
Yeah,
smoking weed.
yeah.
I know all about it. Yeah,
exactly.
Those are the risk takers. Surfer, skydiver, adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, smoke 10, 20, 30 pounds. No big deal. Let's do it. Yeah, it's like the adrenaline.
Totally.
It's the adrenaline.
Totally.
It's the feeling. So I can see that. So he was almost a pro snowboarder. Okay, so he obviously windsurfed too?
Yep. Yeah, he windsurfs, and we surf too. The Northwest is great for like all those different sports, and so we're getting in anything that could get your adrenaline going, right?
So what's the temperature in Oregon in the summer on the water? Because I've surfed the summer in California.
It's cold.
And shit was fucking still cold.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I used to surf. I surf Huntington Beach, and then when I used to get on the surfboard, I used to look at the board to feel where my feet.
Same.
It felt like stumps.
You're like, am I in the right spot?
It felt like stumps. You actually had to look down. It's like you don't do that in Florida. In Florida, you feel the wax on your toes.
Yeah.
If your back foot's on the track. And then you kind of do, but in California, I always had to look. Am my feet on the board? Because the shit was numb, dude.
Dude, yeah. Oh, and when you do a duck and you get the brain freeze.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy. So I can imagine if Southern California was cold as shit. I don't care if it's summer, the hottest summer ever. Oregon, northern Oregon, southern Washington, that shit's cold as hell.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. And like, I actually, the best time to go is in like November.
Oh shit! With the swells, the storms.
Yeah, you get better swell, like, and the water is like warmer. It's not warm by any means, but it's warmer.
It's just starting to get cold because all the storms are starting to push the new cold water in.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's funny. The first time I surfed in Hawaii was like, oh my gosh, like what am I freaking doing? Like getting beat up by these stupid waves in freaking Oregon coast, and
and Hawaii's great, man. I was like, you're in freaking board shorts and that's it. Not even a lycra shirt, getting a tan.
I know, it's beautiful.
And the thing to understand is a wetsuit, especially up there in the winter. I mean, you got to have a thick wetsuit. So it's not only are you paddling, working out, but then you have this rubber thing that's like.
And then getting it
rubber
off.
Rubber bands. It's like you're working out. It's extra work.
Oh, and so the thing I'm into now is foiling.
Okay.
Like have you seen those guys,
Yes.
the hydrofoilers?
Yeah.
So I got I got the easy one, the e-foil. So it's got like a motor and so you got a little trigger.
Oh, sick.
And it's
Mark Zuckerberg has one of those things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it's so nice because it's not weather dependent,
Right.
So I can just like go down to the river, get my adrenaline in, pack up, get home, in like a little like 3-hour window. So like that's my thing. And Lifted is the brand. I'm gonna tag them. I'm gonna see if I can get some swag.
Let's go Lifted. Hook the guy up.
Yeah, come on.
He just plugged you.
Come on.
Shameless plug. That's it. I do those all the time. But yeah, you're right. When you're windsurfing or surfing, is weather dependent. If there's no wind, no windsurfing.
Yeah.
No cold fronts or no fronts, no waves. That's why we sold drugs in Florida, because we couldn't hold a job. If a cold front or a hurricane hits freaking wave season, I'm gone.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have a job, so that's why we did what we did.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about like kind of individual sports like that, like what it taught you was like how to get better yourself. Like I never really did the team sports, and like I don't know, maybe that's a bit of why I'm a disruptor, but the individual sports is really what like taught me to be like, all right, this run I'm gonna try this, or this this set I'm gonna get barreled on this.
Funny that you say that, because anybody that doesn't understand, surfing is very, very competitive. You can be out there with your best friend, and he hasn't had the last 10 waves you've took him. You're going to take that 11th one. And there's nobody out there teaching you, because
No.
everybody's fighting for that same wave. It's about pole position. And it's kind of hard, because we're way out there. I mean, it's like somebody's going to be out there floundering. It's 15, 20 foot deep, whatever it is, maybe shallow or whatever. But nobody's going to get like I can see a kid when you're by the beach and you teach your kid, but when you're learning, you're older, you're out there with the guys, and you don't know these people.
No.
They don't know you. You're in some non-local spot, and you got to get good to be able to catch those waves.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying about an individual person sport.
Yeah.
And in surfing, I mean, windsurfing, I'm sure is the same thing too. You're in the middle of a lake.
Yeah.
You got to kind of figure it out.
Nobody's gonna save you.
No.
You're like,
You gotta
if
figure it
something
out.
goes wrong, I'm gonna have to swim and.
I think the only one board sport that they can teach is kind of snowboarding.
Yeah.
Because person can be right next to you all the time.
Yep.
So that kind of works, and then maybe even wakeboarding. Behind the boat, they're giving you because you're the only person behind the boat on the rope. But
It's
surfing,
still
nobody
just
teaches you.
it's UVU.
Yes.
Correct. Like nobody's there to shoulder any of your load.
Correct.
Like soccer, you're able to
There's another 10 dudes.
Yeah, and you can
basketball,
pass.
volleyball.
Yeah, it's like it's you versus you,
Yep,
and
100%.
that is that's your most important advocate, critic, supporter. Like you gotta know yourself, and you gotta know how to motivate yourself, and you gotta
So-
get better.
So back to this, getting caught with the weed. Okay, with the weed. About what age? I think you said.
Yeah, I was probably like 17 or 18 when
17.
I first started.
And then
Yeah.
Your parents had a conversation with you and said, weed's no good.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, weed's no good, right? But I you can't like question how it makes you feel, right? And I was like, this is great. Like my creative, senses are going off. Like I'm stoked. I'm laughing at everything. It's
High school?
like, yeah, high school.
Roughly 11th, 12th grade. 11th,
Yeah,
12th
I
grade?
think I was a senior. Yeah.
Okay, you're a senior. At that point in time, you're smoking weed, feeling good. Did you know you were going to be an engineer at that time? You already kind of
Oh, yeah.
you had your sets on a college, or no?
Yeah, I was not necessarily college bound. Like I was not a straight A
I
student.
was just going to say, what kind of grades did you get?
No,
Because usually you say he's an engineer. Oh, fuck, I was a straight A student.
No, and like I mean, and even I have a very vivid conversation that I remember with my math teacher and telling him I wanted to become an engineer, and he was just like, Kyle, I don't think your grades are good enough. He's like, you gotta be really good at math, Kyle, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Me? But I've been a tinkerer, builder my whole life, like building go-karts as a kid, took apart my first car before I could drive, like I was always building stuff. And I wanted to be an inventor when I was a kid, right? It was only until, my senior year when I learned what an engineer actually was, And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give that a shot, you know.
I'll give
and-
that a shot. All right. I'll give that a shot. I'll try it out. Why not?
Yeah.
So then you seeked out colleges. 'Cause
Yep.
Obviously, you didn't have straight A's where they come somewhat, they seek you. So then you had to seek out a college. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Washington State University.
Okay. All right. So
Yep.
local, stay local. Yeah, because obviously, no good grades. You can't go to Harvard or
Yeah.
what's MIT or whatever all this. So
Yep.
MIT, huh? You could have had this guy.
Yeah.
You could have had this guy.
I know, right?
I'm saying,
Hey.
RollPros being invited by MIT engineer. But
Yeah,
no,
hey,
not
yeah, there's a
Washington State
plug.
College get the credit.
Yeah, get me like an honorary degree here. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you went to how long so you went to college and then you went to engineering school. How long? So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that's like 6, 7 years. 6
No, it was
6
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, and it's funny because once they meshed like the calculus with physics, it kind of started making sense. Like kind of started bringing the physical world into all this, like all these numbers and like math that they're teaching you, and that started clicking, and I was able to like realize like, oh, like all these things that I've been like kind of learning growing up, like eyeballing, right? Like I've always just eyeballed shit. I'm like, that's probably the right
I'm a
size
contractor.
beam. Yeah.
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 That'll work.
The eyeball, man. Like I've been training this eyeball, and then when I started like learning into like beams and how they deflect and like the math behind it, it was just like further strengthening that like kind of ability to eyeball or have a vision for what you're gonna make, and that. Yeah, so that took about 4 years.
So were you one of those guys in high school that says fucking calculus, algebra, trigonometry? I'm never gonna use that shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, that's like I was anti the standard, and this school was the ultimate freaking standard of you got to show up here, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, and man, like my core just really wanted to rebel against that in all the ways, and so it was that's really what drove me away from school, and then college. The teachers are like, I really don't care if you're here, and that like actually like intrigued me. I was like, all right, like they don't really give a shit. I have to be the one that pushes this forward.
To mature.
Yeah, and I loved that freedom.
Okay.
And I excelled pretty well.
And that's where you started growing your first plant.
Yeah.
Okay. Was
Yeah.
it a tent or like a phototron?
It was a tent. It was HPS.
An HPS 600 watt, I'm assuming, or 400 watt.
Yeah, 400. Might have even been less. It was really small.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it from seed? Oh, you said the green dragon. It was the blue dragon.
Yep. I
Blue
got a
dragon.
cut from a guy in Lewiston, Idaho, and yeah, I got a cut from him. I
So how'd you get the? You drove over there to get the cut. Was it
Yeah.
rooted?
No, I don't think it was rooted. I just had it. It was just I just wrapped it in a paper towel
Oh
and
shit! So you had to go clone it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
who taught you how to do that? Because like,
Hey, you just
really
you
freaking
teach
cut it,
yourself.
whatever, go root and hormone, put it into dirt or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'm surprised the fucking thing grew.
Hey, me too.
All right. So then you grew your first plant. You had a harvest.
Yep.
How big did the plant get?
It got pretty big. I mean, like I don't know. It was
This
all
in
the
your
way up
house
to
or
the
in a
lake.
dorm?
It was in my house. I was in a basement of a house, and
Okay.
yeah, and I had this little grow set up. And I loved all the tech around the grow, right? Like what a cool juxtaposition of growing something, like simulating the outdoor environment inside, right? Like that's probably one of the reasons why you got into it too. It's kind of cool, like.
It's cool. Well, I first started selling weed because all my friends were rich and they still sold weed, and I was a broke kid, and I wanted the nice shit and I wanted a car, so I started growing weed. Selling weed for that, and then I just never stopped, and then I just got into construction. I started building these things, and then you fall in love with the challenge every day. There's always something wrong happening that you gotta fix, you gotta address. How can I make better? How can I make it grow bigger, more stinky? It was just it's an everyday challenge. It's not like you go to work and it's the same freaking thing. Like people like punch a clock every day and do the same thing. It's monotonous. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I fell in love with. So you grew that. You went through your whole college. You graduated. What was your first job out of college?
Well, so my very first job was at a steel mill. I interned there a couple of summers. Great job, loved it. Big shit. Steel is fun. You know, it was a scrap recycling mill in Seattle. So they had, they dump all this scrap metal in, and 3 big electrodes go in, like freaking just turn it into molten steel.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of big shit. It was fun.
Okay.
I had the job officially for 1 day, and I failed a hair follicle test.
For weed.
For weed.
Oh, no.
I know.
Should have listened to my dad.
I know. Oh, yeah. Prove
Yeah,
that.
because you can't.
Oh, dude, it's so deep.
It's in there.
It's so deep. So I didn't smoke for like literally 5 months, and I shaved my hair. I had the shortest hair, and I shaved my armpits.
Prepared.
Yeah. I shaved everything.
Oh my God!
I was like a seal.
Hey, give me a pube.
Yeah,
that was back then. You didn't manscape. I need a pube.
It was, and they were actually pretty pissed because I failed because they knew that I was gonna like do really good for them, and they were like stoked they had a good solid engineer out of school. And I was
got
just
him
like,
cheap. We got him cheap.
Yeah.
It's fresh out.
Yeah.
The disruptor. We got him cheap.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
and
was a blessing. It was a blessing.
And it was because like I kind of had a toxic relationship that kind of forced me out of, which was great. Like it was good. I went back to, Portland, and then I found this, it was just an internship. So this is 2009, so big economy crash.
Oh, yes.
And I just went to being an intern at a medical device startup. And yeah, that was really where I cut my teeth in like rapid prototyping and like, product development.
And then from what I read is that you guys made ribs and sternums.
Yeah, chest, the thoracic cavity.
Okay, so what happens? Somebody's like their bones rot, or they get a car accident. What happens that you have to redevelop? So I've never heard of that. I mean, I was reading it.
Yeah.
So what kind of injury or accident or disease happens that you need a new rib cage?
Fall off a freaking ladder.
Okay.
Or you get in a high energy car accident.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And we had one of our guys who's kind of like he had like multiple products in him, was a stunt man.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Jesus.
So he's like our model. Like he was our,
He was the dummy.
Yeah.
He was a prototype dummy. All right. And then I think I read even that you met a dude that the sternum.
Yeah.
You guys saved his life, pretty much.
Yeah, the Accutie saved his life, and he was a banker that I just randomly met through these other like investment bankers, and he was telling us about his surgery he just had, and he said he had a plate put in. I was like, hey, like I worked on one of these 15 years ago. You should ask your doctor if it's an Accutie. And turns out, sure as shit, it is. Behold. And he's just like, dude, you kind of saved my life.
Damn, that's a freaking that's a great story.
Yeah,
that you
so
got
cool.
the work that you were the things that you were designing and working on actually saved the dude's life. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing for sure. Okay, so then how long did you work there?
So I worked there for about 6 years.
You were still smoking pot?
Oh yeah.
So you smoked pot even when you got caught with the follicle.
Yeah.
They fired you from the shipyard. I'm gonna call it shipyard, and you had stopped for 5 months because you knew what was gonna happen. And they fired you. How fast did you light up?
Well, so it was 2009. Still trying to find a job.
Okay.
So I was a good boy, like right after the hair follicle test, I blazed. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm back. But then as soon as I lost that job, I was like, all right, shit, I got to get clean again. Got to be able to pass a P test, that whole thing. So I was pretty straight for a while until I got that internship. And so the thing too that I realized there was like when I was working on like developing something, and I had all these like, I'm trying to like figure out how to create a certain product that fixes a problem.
Okay.
When I would take that home and I'd get high, it would just click. It was like weed gave me just a slightly different perspective of the problem, and I could unlock it, And I'm sure you've experienced that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, and so like I started, it was almost like a creative aid or a creative catalyst for me that like I was able to really like use it to my benefit. And I still do it today. Like if if I got some problem bouncing around in my head and I get high at home, I'll start making notes, and I'll be like, oh, we could do it like this or like this. And that's, yeah.
And that was the new job. At what point? Okay, that was the call it the medical job, shipyard medical job. Was there a job after that?
Yep.
Okay, what was that?
So that was Sigma Design. So that was the medical was great. I loved it, but it was so slow, like to get things to market. Like I would do all this work, I'd get this prototype, it'd all be ready, but then it was like all these regulatory
Oh my God,
hurdles.
I can only imagine because it's going in somebody's freaking body.
Yeah, which is good. Like there's a reason for it,
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I want to go faster.
Okay.
And so Sigma Design is a design consulting firm, and they placed me at HP. So I was working on printers.
Hewlett Packard. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and I actually helped them deliver their quietest personal printer.
I'm starting to see it now. Hewlett Packard machine. It's kind of like the same thing like the machine.
Oh, and
okay.
yeah, and
I'm starting to see it.
yeah,
A paper.
and
voila moment.
like no shit.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
We go back deep. There was a moment at Hewlett Packard printing machines that he thought, weed.
Yeah.
Time to roll. Paper. Yeah, all right, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I was legit a paper path engineer.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
RollPros was born at HP.
Yeah, and I actually met he was like one of my early mentors is Keith Jeriabka, and he my first day at HP was like I was just like, oh my gosh, this is where innovation goes to die. I was super depressed because it's a big corporation, like thousands of employees, and I was like depressed. But this guy Keith took me under his wing.
How old?
Me?
Yes, at that time.
I think I was like 25 or 26.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Okay. All right. So roughly 13 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. Roughly 12, 13 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny, he works for me now. So Keith, I was like, and he's
Sometimes it happens like that.
Yeah.
All right.
But I helped them develop this printer transmission that could absorb the energy from this one event, and it made it quite a bit quieter, and it was one of the best products they ever shipped.
All right. So how long did you work there?
I worked there for just about 2 years.
2 years. So it's roughly 26 to 28-ish, 29-ish. Yep. So we still have a 10-year gap. 10-year gap between now and then. And then I'm assuming you've been working on RollPros for a few years now. For a few years now.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a job after HP?
So I'm still under Sigma's umbrella.
Okay.
And so I worked for HP, went in-house Sigma.
So Sigma's like the parent company, but HP's a division. Okay.
It's like I was a contractor. So I was contracted to work for them.
Okay.
And then I worked for Georgia Pacific.
Georgia Pacific is a big lumber company.
Yep.
Okay.
And they also do like food handling stuff now too. They bought
Georgia Pacific Lumber Company, a lot of extra mulch or wood, whatever, to make the paper, the crutches. See where I'm going? I'm going somewhere.
Well, so I made like a fork singulator. So I don't know if you ever get a machine, you'll know there's a part called a singulator.
Okay.
And so have you ever been at like a cafeteria and you grab the handle of the cutlery that you want and you pull it, and then the next cutlery like advances?
Yes.
So I was one of the like primary engineers on that patent.
Okay.
And so I worked with them. That, you know, the food industry is all about like germaphobes. Like that's who's driving the innovation. And so like, you know, a jar of forks is like the worst. Like germaphobes, like, oh, somebody could have sneezed on it. Then the next worst is you have to press a button to get one to
Everybody
singulate.
touches it.
Yeah. And so we came up with this idea of like grabbing the handle of the fork, and then that's what actuates to let the next one come down.
Okay, I got you.
And so
that's your fork.
Yeah.
You didn't touch anything else. You didn't touch nobody
Yep.
else's. You didn't give cooties to anybody
Exactly.
else. Okay,
Exactly.
I got you.
And so that was another like kind of disruption that I was a part of, and yeah, that project went great. And then after that it was Meta. So that was the
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, that was the big one.
What'd you do there?
So I was the lead technical architect for a AR headset. So AR is augmented reality.
Yep.
So that's where, you know, like Google Glass, and like you're projecting something into your field of view. So really early on that at Meta, we designed one of the very first headsets. Like, so they had the concept on this big optical table, and they said they gave the same task to about 30 different contracting firms, some internal, some external. I was an external one. And they said, turn this optical path into a headset. And we got the bid, and our team actually won. We delivered fastest out of everybody, and it's still being used today as like a AR headset
Sick.
test bed. Yeah.
You ever meet Mark Zuckerberg?
I, you know, briefly met him when I was at Facebook, but he actually, yeah.
Damn, I thought I had my plug to never
Yeah.
get deleted of Instagram again. He's telling me Meta. I'm thinking, oh, I found it. I found it. We're going to be buddies. I'm going to never get deleted again. No, it didn't happen.
No. Even I can't. I got still buddies there. I can't
Really?
get my shit cleared. No.
Damn. Damn. It's like,
No.
come on. Talk to Suck. Come on,
Yeah.
buddy. Let's go. We
Yeah.
hydrofoil together. Come on. You serve. We went to. We're like brothers. Come on. I work for you. Help me out.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So then, you guys delivered the project on time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so yeah, I made the first one. He wore it in front of his big address of the whole company, you know. It was like this big deal, you know. We won it. Beat out internal teams, everything.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And I was just like a scrappy, it was like me and like 4 other dudes, and like I was the lead, and it was a pretty proud moment. And then it was kind of funny. It was like there's weird politics that got involved, and I wanted to do the next one and the next one. And they're like, no, this one's like good enough. And they just had to start like manufacturing it. And then they kind of started turning me more into a manager. And I was like, well, I still like have this desire to like design and build.
Right.
And
Complete projects, start project, complete projects. Yes. Spit out stuff.
exactly.
Invent.
Exactly. And they were kind of telling me no. You know, I was just like, they're like, well, no, you did a good job here, but we're going to take the design in-house after this. And so I kind of needed an outlet to start designing something. And that was really the birth of RollPros.
Okay. But tell me, at what point in time were you sitting smoking weed, and you were rolling a joint, and you said, "Oh God," because this world has become a world of convenience. Okay, I remember being young, and I used to roll joints all the time. Before I went anywhere, I would roll 2 or 3 joints. I mean, it was just like, if you're with me, you're gonna wait till like if you can go get get the scissors, chop it up. Grind it, whatever, put the joint, cut the crutch, put the crutch in there, and then you're ready. But it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, not too long ago, maybe 8 months ago, we all heard it on social media that pre-rolls, and when pre-rolls first came out, they made fun of them. Never gonna last, shitty weed, this and that. Pre-rolls actually outsell now regular weed. Why? Because people can go in there. People don't have the time nowadays. I mean, we all have single jobs, double jobs, 3 jobs. Nobody's got really time to take the time to roll the weed. So they just buy pre-rolls. And then pre-rolls now, the game is infused. The cones came out for a long time, which we'll get into that. But then now the convenience world is really taking off. So at what point in time did you say, were you rolling a joint one day sometimes and said it didn't come out perfect, or what was it? What was the voila moment that you said, I'm going to design a machine that rolls this thing?
So yeah, the first was I bought my first legal joint in 2016 in Washington. As soon as it became legal, and it was supposed to be this glorious moment, my first perfect joint bought legally, and it sucked. It was a cone. It canoed. I could tell the weed was old and dried out. It was hot. And I didn't even smoke the whole thing. And I was like, this sucks. This is bullshit. And I still remember the brand that I bought it from. And I was just like, this sucks, And so that was like the very first of like, this is a problem. There's a problem here with the quality. And my buddy had a dispensary, Chris Mitchum. He had started this DM cannabis brand, and I was like, oh, I want to see how these pre-rolls are made. I want to know how did this become to be? And when I realized, or I learned that they were, they took all these cones and they were just filling them from the top, just like dragging them in with a knockbox.
And vibrating it.
I knew, at my core, that that's not ever going to work to make a really consistent, use high-quality flour, and essentially be a good joint. I just know, and I knew that because when I was a kid, we used to try to, you'd empty out a cigarette, and you try to fill it with weed from the top.
Yes.
And
you
it
didn't
just
have paper or something.
Yeah, you're just scrappy, and you could never get a good pack.
Correct.
And so I could tell in this knockbox style of making joints, I was like, this is not ever gonna scale, And my buddy Chris was like, yeah, just make a machine that fills the cones, And I was just like, no.
I want a straight joint.
Yeah, well, I wanted to run fresh, sticky flour,
Dried, yeah, because that's one thing. The sticky flour is a problem. It doesn't vibrate in. It gets stuck.
Yeah.
So they need to dry out the flour to a point that it's not even, it's terpless.
Yeah.
It burns hot because it's got no moisture in it. And, anybody that smokes a high caliber cigar is in a humidor to keep somewhat of the moisture in there. Mm-hmm. So when you're burning, it has some kind of moisture, hot air going through and soothing somewhat of your palate.
Yep.
Instead of, just being dried harsh.
Yeah.
Harsh. In your throat.
Exactly. Yeah. And still to this day, all the cone filling machines, the cone filling technology, you still have to dry your flour out. That's what they recommend.
Grind it, and then as I was talking earlier, when we were talking earlier today, that is they're vibrating. The weed is ground up, is dried, it's put into this knockbox thing, and then they kind of with the screeder they kind of push it into the thing, and then they vibrate it and kind of pack it a little bit. And the bottom part that's a touch into the crutch is not really. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not really perfectly packed, so it kind of bends. And then if it doesn't fill all the way down there, then the top is too tight too.
Yeah.
So then when you're trying to inhale, you almost got to loosen it. You almost got to throw some weed out for it to be able to make it, the air to travel through the cone. So it's not. I see what you're saying. It's definitely not a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not up to par.
So you decided. I mean, I see the machine now.
Mm-hmm.
I see the machine now. The Blackbird and the Double XL. How many prototypes? Because I know you didn't design this fucking machine and then hit every corner. Is this prototype 3? Is this prototype 10? Is this prototype 20?
Oh my!
And I know that there was some investment put into this. That shit. The engineering. I know Control Master.
Yep.
The legwork. The amount of money that goes into this design to be able to put a product out there that you feel confident into the market, not only takes time and money.
Yeah.
Time and money. So how many prototypes would you say that you tried before you rolled the first machine out?
So yeah, the so many, so many.
So there's no number right now.
Yeah. The nice thing was like as my tenure as an engineer, like I had gotten pretty good at like working through design problems in my head. So like I was very efficient in that like I had kind of thought about it for like a few months, you know, of just straight like, and I have a sketchbook with all my ideas and like, you know, so I gave it like really deep thought. My first test bed was like literally just this little piece of aluminum plate that I machined some holes in, and this is the platen that's on the machine that moves back and forth.
Right,
And I rolled my first joint out of Play-Doh. But it was very simple, half 3D printed, and that was probably the first. And then I made a little bit more automated, still hand valves, and then I added like controls. But it was probably like it was at least freaking before before the first machine that I sold, it was probably like 10 different like iterations of like total architectures.
When you were doing this too, I'm assuming you financed this yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were still working for Signia?
Sigma and
Sigma?
Meta, yeah.
Meta, okay, or Meta, Sigma and Meta.
Yep.
You were still, that was your day job, and at nighttime you'd go tinker with your project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I also had 3 small children at the same time.
Okay, shit.
So,
all right.
And they kind of showed me like I could operate on very little sleep, you know, as you know. And so I would work my whole day job, and then I would come home, you know, dinner and family time, put them all to bed, and then I would go back to work. And they had
You would do it back at work. Then you wouldn't go to the garage, so you had to drive back to work, okay?
Well, so I did a lot of CAD, like, at home, you know, like, that was most of the time, well, probably half the time was CAD at home, but then I would go into work and I would machine all my own parts. And so...
Did they have a problem with that? Did they know?
They knew, yeah.
They knew? Okay, they didn't have a problem. Okay, cool.
They knew, and
That's
you know,
pretty cool.
yeah, it was great. Yeah, shout out to Sigma Design. They were super cool.
Shout
about
out to
it.
Sigma.
Yeah,
right on.
yeah.
Do that, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Those guys were clutch, and yeah. So I'd go machine with the night shift crew, and
Okay.
and
there was
that's
people there. It's not like you were there by yourself. The thing was
Yep.
open. It was operating. Yeah,
Mhm.
just go over there and do your thing. Don't bother anybody. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, tinker.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, and it was
Well, how'd the wife feel, by the way? You have, you have 3 kids. You have a wife. She's looking at you going, thinking, I mean, because there's some wives that are supportive. There's some ones that are saying, "What the fuck are you doing? You're wasting your time. This is never going to work."
yeah.
Was she one or the other, or sometimes one or sometimes the other?
Always supportive. She
Sick.
was always supportive. Yeah, big shout out to Christy.
Christy, yeah.
You made this.
Yeah.
You made
Shout
this
out to
happen.
Christy. Yeah, she held the house down. She didn't nag no man.
No.
Because that's what all these girls that freaking nag your guy because you're always at work. What do you want me to be at home in a freaking video game all the time and broke?
Totally.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually
My wife is
wasn't-
supportive too. She don't bother me. She's like, you know what? As long as this house is paid and I got my range, do whatever the fuck you want. Make sure that shit's paid.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. And she was not pro weed for a long time. She
Okay.
was I still had to like sneak it around her.
Okay.
But yeah, totally supportive and
Hey, I hear you hit the vapes.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah.
you hit
she's
the
on
vapes. That
vapes.
conversation, hit the vapes. You cheat on my man.
I know, the family business.
You gotta hit the joint.
It's a family business. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So she was supportive. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big help.
Totally.
You were doing the night shift, and then you were coming home. And then how many years was this?
It was probably, I was underground for like 18, 19. It was probably like 2 years total of kind of like underground, like working in the garage, tinkering. I rolled for there's a lot of CBD farmers at the time in Oregon.
Yep.
So I was rolling joints for them. that was actually pretty good money. I was rolling them at like, I think it was like 50 cents a joint, and
With the machine.
with the machine, it was
First prototypes.
yeah, it was a test bed, right? Like welded frame, and like if you saw a picture of it, you'd be like, "There's no way this is like."
You need to provide
RollPros.
pictures now.
Oh,
You need to
yeah,
provide
I got
pictures.
that. Yeah.
Did you send pictures in?
Yeah, I'll send you
Sick.
pictures. Look
at the
yeah,
screen.
You gotta hit
Look
me
at the
up.
screen.
though.
There we go. Oh, you didn't send those in?
Well, no, I will. I will.
Okay.
I'm good for it.
Because you were supposed. All right. Hey, people
Yeah.
want to see. I want to see it too.
Oh yeah.
I want to see it too. I want to see what it was then.
Yep.
If you can send some more pictures, I want to see the projections. The
Yeah.
improvements.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
that's pretty dope. Because people say, "Wow, this is that to this is pretty cool."
Yeah.
All right. So Oregon was getting roll joints for 50 cents.
Yep.
Okay. So that you're making a little side income.
Yeah, and it was really just more to prove out, the mechanism and make
100%.
sure it's like it's gonna work. And then I sold actually. So I met a guy named Colin with Green Bros. Do you remember them?
Yep. I have one of the machines for our micros.
Okay, yeah.
You can't pay your guys to fucking trim. I mean, we hand trim on the stick, but I'm sorry, micros is just, it's not cost. It's just, we do the smalls. We can't do the micros.
Yeah.
And even though we have under canopy lights, believe me, they're fucking fat ass, nice, fluffy, hard,
Yeah.
velvety micros.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's funny because I was kind of calling around to some equipment manufacturers in the cannabis space, and I got a hold of him, and like literally the next day he was in my garage, and he flew up from Nevada because I told him what I was doing, and he was just like, "Holy shit, this is," he's like, "This is what the industry needs."
What year?
This was 2020.
Oh, fuck, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, roughly 6 years ago, okay.
Yep.
And you met the right guys. How'd you meet this guy again? It was in Oregon? How did you connect with the Green Bros?
It was I called somebody that was renting out equipment.
Uh-huh.
So her name was Bailey, and she was like renting harvest equipment to grows.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, like what's a cool company? I had Mobius was the other one that I was just like, hey, what about these Mobius guys? They seem like they're into high tech. And she's like, the guys at Green Bros are really cool. Like,
I'm surprised you didn't go because Twister's right there in Vancouver.
I know,
Canada. You're really close, but you just didn't know.
I didn't know.
Okay, you didn't
I
know.
had
I got
no
you.
idea. And
Okay.
so yeah, Colin shows up in my garage. I had a film crew there a couple weeks afterwards, and he was just like, dude, like we're gonna sell this, and he was all about, he wanted to be my distributor.
Okay.
And
So you're already getting offers.
Yeah.
You can see the future.
Yeah, he gave me the blast. I sent him home with, a Tupperware of joints, and like it was not like a week later that he sold like my first two machines.
This is 2020, you said again?
This is 2020. Yep.
2020, okay.
Yep. And like yeah, that hit my bank account. And I was just like, shit, I guess I gotta quit my job.
Oh, shit, big step. What the wife say then?
she
Whoa,
was
whoa,
like-
whoa, whoa,
Nah.
whoa.
Well, so she's a registered nurse. So
Okay,
she was
like
a
my wife.
nurse in the
My wife's a
ER.
registered nurse. Like,
Yeah. Dude, nurses are the best.
Yes,
Like,
she nurtures me, takes care of me. She makes sure I take my vitamins every morning.
yeah.
She looks at the little thing Monday, Tuesday. Hey, you didn't take your vitamins today. What's up? I'm worth more alive than dead.
Yeah. Well, and they're, I think that they're very empathetic people, and like they're there to try to like help the betterment of everybody. So I love a good nurse, and so yeah, she still had her job, still had benefits covered for the kids, and I was like, I gotta make a run at this, and I still had this scrappy like test bed in the garage, so I had to now deliver a machine that needed to be, fully buttoned up. I'm still like half the parts are off like Amazon, I'm kind of like scrapping this whole thing together.
Well, that's how everything starts because, it's expensive to manufacture all the equipment. Just like cannabis people, all our equipment for the longest time was, Home Depot or, some other industry that we made it work. I mean, this is a very, very new industry, and now we're developing products that are designed for this thing. So I
Yeah, you get it.
I get it.
Yeah, you use what you got, you know,
Yep.
and
Make it work. And then eventually, when the money starts rolling in,
yeah.
technology improves, then you start adapting.
Exactly. And that was I had that mindset. I knew that was going to happen. So I made the machine modular so I could, like, you know, if I totally redesigned the feed mechanism, which I did, that's what differentiates a 1.0 from a 2.0. You can just swap that whole feed mechanism out. And so that was like a really good early insight to be like, make sure that you can service this thing.
Yes,
And
because I see the
upgrade
machine
it.
now, and it's
Yeah.
intricate, and I'm thinking, shit, if something breaks, like Trollmaster, everything's modular. I can go to a closet, and this modular's $100. I can go to the closet, grab another one, put it on, address it, and you're back in business.
Yeah.
You don't have to call your an engineer or a guy with a PhD to come over here, fly him out first class, and then fix this thing, or get a part from somewhere. So that was very, very important, and I think that's a key to the future. Okay.
Totally, totally. Yeah, and everything is made locally in Vancouver, Washington. So, yeah, if somebody like catastrophically, kills a part that should never wear out, it's like I can just pull one off the shelf, drop it in a box, and it's
Send it.
there next
Boom.
day.
Perfect.
Boom,
Yes.
you're back up and running.
Okay.
And so, yeah, the modularity of the design was key, not only for like improving it and making it more reliable, but also like upgrades and add-ons.
Yes.
Like, the what's a good one? Like running glass tips, or the labeler, the tipper that we're gonna add to it, so you can add like a little cigar band on.
Yeah, like now the XXL has got the coil, I guess you call it, what do you call it, the ribbon.
Yeah.
The ribbon, and it rolls, the branding.
Yep.
I think it helps several things. It attaches a little bit more sturdiness to the crutch, the glass, where there's porcelain glass or the paper crutch, and it kind of binds it together in a more tighter way. It feels
Yeah.
good, and it obviously personalizes
Uh-huh.
the brand of whatever company that you're rolling for, and so the XXL's got it because that was a later on added thing because of the canifetti. Canifetti. That's funny because there was a person that I was talking to about this rope, and she goes, "Yeah, but this. The only thing is that these, which doesn't make the joint burn any better or any worse, but it's just aesthetically where the machine is laying out the product on the paper. Some of the speckles of weed get in between the paper and the crutch, and this is the visual thing, So then, obviously, for them, easy way to fix this is because you can't, get in there and move the little pieces that are called canifetti. So they say, what's an easy way to fix this is to roll a band, and then that's like a voila moment because not only do we take care of that, but we also personalize the joint to the brand. It was like
Yep.
it's like a 2-for-1.
Totally. Yeah, huge 2-for, and it's there's so many pluses to it, It's like you can have a different band for each strain. You could, there's so many benefits to it, and it's actually like it makes the machine run better because you're adhering the crutch to the paper, and so you don't have to rely on the tension to hold the crutch in.
Right.
So it kind of solves like 3 problems.
Yeah, because they tape it down. It's kind of taped and it's making it tight so it doesn't
Yeah.
fall out. Yes.
Exactly.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
And the personalizing, that's just the icing on the cake.
Totally.
And I like that you said, hey, what kind of weed is that? I don't know. Let me see. Oh, White Runs or
Yeah.
whatever, Toad Venom or whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Personalized brand and telling you what strain it is. And I think that the ribbons that you guys have are pretty cool. And they seem more affordable than a sticker.
Yeah.
Like when the guys do the hand rolls, they can put a sticker. Not only that, it's a touch point that's expensive, but those stickers, they're pretty thick. It's like a regular sticker, which is expensive material.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like foilish.
Yeah. It's it's a highly engineered sticker. Is
Okay.
like it. I didn't think it needed to be, right. Like I always jump into these things like, any old sticker, let's just make it work, But as you get into it, you really got to specify the right adhesive. I don't know what they call it. I think they call it like the substrate, is like It's got to be flexible. Otherwise, you put it on and it peels off.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And then, making sure it runs through the machine properly. So we have a local supplier for them, and we've been working with them really close on kind of developing that spec for the label. And I think we got it pretty well
I
dialed.
was watching the rolls and go, what the heck's the holes for? And they go, that's where the laser machine knows exactly where to start, stop.
Yeah.
The holes in between. So that was pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Exactly.
And then now I think you guys, that was such a good upgrade that I think you guys just not long ago, recently, made an adaptation or an adapter for the original Blackbird.
Yep.
The smaller joint roller.
Yeah, and so that's not quite out yet.
Okay.
That'll be out probably Q3 of 2026. It's called the Tipper. I think it's called the Tipper. I don't know. We change it, whatever. But it's in testing right now. But we've got, the blunt machine was kind of the real, like, okay, let's make sure that this works in the blunt machine. And then we knew that we could backwards, integrate it into the Blackbirds. But we just kind of wanted to see some miles get driven on it out in the wild. So it'll be out real soon.
I gotcha. Well, we jumped ahead a little bit because Blackbird is obviously the main machine that kind of broke into the industry that I heard about. Okay, but we jumped ahead to that one. Before you were doing these things, at what point did how did the Blackbird come about?
Well, I was looking for a hard problem, right? Like I was kind of like, I came off this meta thing, like I was kind of like, I was pretty cocky, I was just like, I can design anything.
I'm the shit. Yeah, I'm the shit. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I want to like design something like really, I want to find a really hard problem. And so I was like, rolling a joint is hard. And I was like, I should, let's tackle that. Let's make a little machine that rolls, the perfect joint. And I had used one of those little, the belt style rollers, like the little like zigzag ones. Yep. And I remember like using it thinking like, oh, this is actually like makes a pretty good joint.
People that don't know how to roll joints use those things. They put the paper in there, they fill it, and then they kind of roll it. Yep.
Yeah.
It comes out perfect.
It is pretty good. The one thing that I had a trouble with was like sometimes I'd roll it too tight, and I was like, I had no way of controlling.
So we're going to address that here because
exactly.
He's going to address that.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that was the kind of the basis for it, was using this belt style roller, and turns out they use that heavily in cigar manufacturing. Like most of the people in the Dominican Republic that are hand rolling cigars, they use a belt like that.
Okay.
And so, that was kind of the basis, or like the internal like function of the machine. But then, I added a servo motor to that belt.
Okay.
So now you can increase or decrease the tension at which you're rolling your joint. And so that is what gives you the ultimate ability to dial in the draw, which is your favorite part of
It was
the machine.
amazing because I've seen the RollPros and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's seen it. But then what makes sense to these guys is they like I said before, sometimes the cones, if you go to smoke it, you can't suck any air through it. I mean, any air through it. So it's like you end up like rolling the end, kind of losing it. You throw a third, a quarter of the weed out. So you're now pissed because you paid for this thing, and then half the weeds is off the table to finally get it to a point that now you can start getting in a drag. And I put this on my Instagram to where these guys, when so I'm going to go back a little bit. All weed is different. Different moisture levels, different stickiness levels. And then when you grind the weed, it grinds it to different particles, let's say. There's finer and then there's coarser. So, and then there's some people like, for example, Sergio. Sergio likes super fine ground. And when you fine grind this product, you can kind of get more weight in a smaller spot because there's less air in there. There's this thing that I call what I call, I gave it some weird names. The freaking Sucker 2000 or something like that. Sucker 1000. But when they put this joint, so first, before that, I'm going to go back more. I go, how do you guys decide? Because cones is just one size. These guys have 13 millimeter tips, 12, 11. There might be even a couple of halves in there. 10, 9, 8, 7. I think all the way down to 5, correct?
All the way down to 6.
All the way down to 6.
Yep.
Okay, all the 6. And there's a couple of halves in there, like 10 and a half or 9 and a half or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is where it gets really, really interesting. So then they grind the weed. They put it in this machine that I wish he would have brought, but we're going to put a picture on the screen. And then that tells them, depends on the size of the joint, whether there's a half, a gram, a 0.7, a half, a 0.7, or a gram, or gram and a half, or 2 grams. It tells them the size of the crutch that they're going to need. Am I correct?
Yep.
Correct me, stop me,
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong. Because
Yep.
I kind of was over the streets and I was going through all the products, stuff like that. So then that's what decides the size of crutch that they're going to use. So then they'll roll the joint. They'll roll the joint with the machine, a couple of testers, and they'll grab that joint and they'll go put it to the Sucker 2000, and then it's going to spit out. I call it a PSI. I don't. They got to come up with we were discussing that today, a name for the suckability. Not smokability, the suckability. And then, according to Chris Sweets, he likes it in the 32 range. Sergio from Powerhouse likes it more at the 40 range, which is, so it's a little bit more packed, packed, a little bit harder to draw. But I think they go as slow as, 22. I believe, Chris, Kyle, you have said that you feel like a lighter or a looser roll has more flavor or something like that, if I remember correctly, from your comments on my Instagram page when I put the Sucker 1000.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by that machine.
Yeah.
And then at that point in time, you were saying that we were talking about the white ash, or somebody said about the white ash, and you said cigars have more of a white ash because they're tighter packed. It's a slower burn, so it burns everything a little bit more even. And then a cigarette is a lighter pack. It burns a little bit faster, and that's what leaves a grainy, kind of speckled, grainy, for lack of a better term, grainy, grayish thing. And I'm not saying that cigarettes are healthy for you because they got all kinds of bad shit on it, but just kind of giving you the relation to it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. How you first grind the weed, you put it in this one tool. That tells you what size crutch, because it might be fluffier or more compact. So that's important, because when you roll this, it's got to be. It can't be loose. It can't be too tight, because then you can't smoke it. So that's what the size of the crutch. That was super cool.
Yeah, and I'll fill in some of the our branded terms for it. Is the crutch saber is what you're talking about. That's the one that tells you what crutch to use, and then the draw check is the suckalizer. Yeah, and it's the whole theory behind those tools. It's just like you're just giving your operator some numbers to start working with. Like you're all about data. You got the Troll Master. Like you got to start with something. So like, oh wow, that burned great. Okay, what were my numbers to get here so that you can repeat it? And yeah, some of the interesting things that we're finding is that in the white ash discussion is we can create white ash, we can do that, but what we've found is that you actually can get like a better taste profile if you open it up a little bit more. And I don't have the best palate, but my West Coast manager, Brian Childs, he's like a level 3 sommelier, and he's my tester.
Okay. We all need one or two or three of those. Yeah,
totally,
sure. Yes.
Totally, yeah. And I'm happy to send him down too if you want him to do some.
Because I don't smoke as much as I used to anymore, but I don't think that I have a refined palate like a lot of other guys that I know.
Yeah.
So we give them all the weed, and we give them, when we do pheno hunts, we give them the cards. They fill out everything, because you have to smoke a lot anyway to be one of those guys. And I just I'm too busy during the day. I don't have a RollPro machine to roll my joints for me. I be smoking way too much weed, and I got too much shit to do to sit there and roll the joints. So we give that. I sub out that job to other people. like the camera guy behind
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He's one of our test pilots. He's one of our test pilots.
Yeah.
So what was the other thing that impressed me today is that, and I don't think this has anything to do with you guys, but we went to Sweets, and obviously they got a business over there rolling joints, and then they made this spreadsheet that's pretty cool. Obviously company name. Some of the things that I remember is he put, obviously how many joints are rolled, how many defective joints came out, the draw
Yep.
PSI, because all that gets stats that gets put into there. There was a bunch of pretty cool stuff that put it up on the screen because we talked about it, and then it's a pretty cool spreadsheet that is data that like I said, the world runs around data. They sell data, buy data, and it was a pretty cool thing to see it working today. And,
Yeah.
And by the way, anybody that doesn't know, this is right here. This is a 2-grammer.
Yep, that's a 2-gram
This
blunt.
is a 2-gram blunt right here, and I did put one of my stickers on there, and it's shade didn't go all the way around, but and this is it with a paper crutch. This is the smaller ones right here, and then this is the first. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
The first hash hole rolled in a RollPros machine.
Yeah, and it's a true. This is you can run infused material through the machine. You can do infused on your flour. You can run bubble hash in with your flour. But this is the first true cold cure hash rosin inside of a blunt.
And that's pretty freaking cool because another thing that I asked today is like when they do these hash holes, I always say, man, they're cheating you. They don't. It's like a little piece in the middle of the joint. Like they say, this is the joint, and then the hash hole's there. Well, why didn't they put it over here and put it back there? He gave me the perfect explanation today, and I'm gonna let you do the honor because that was the best explanation that somebody's ever gave me about why it's a little piece, inside and not the whole length.
Yeah. So yeah, I asked the same question too when I had my first hash hole and I deconstructed it. Why is it a little slug in the middle of your joint? And the reason is because you want to have a good ember started. So if you have hash going all the way up to the top, it's not going to have a hot enough ember to actually burn through the hash. So you want to start by giving yourself a good ember in the first quarter of the joint.
Okay.
And then you have like some mass, some heated mass
That's even through the joint, and because if you have it at the end, it might run, and it might leak because of the heat. It might melt it somewhere. Okay, so you want that thing perfectly round, like a can, and just burning evenly.
Exactly.
Okay? Which makes sense. The hot air is going through the joint.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other nice thing is, so now your hot air that is vaporizing all those terps that are inside of your cold cured hash. And so it's starting to off gas like all the phenomenal flavors that, we all know about. And it's also, now you're melting that hash, so it's kind of infusing itself into the flour.
And it's starting to melt, and it's kind of, and if you're drawing, so it's melting. It's kind of going back towards the bottom part.
The bottom.
Because it has to run somewhere.
Yep.
Because it doesn't get wasted. Because if it went all the way, it would kind of clog the airwave and it'd be in your crutch. So that made sense to me today. That you have to have some room for that oil to move back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're creating your ember, you're melting the hash, and then you're allowing that hash, that resin you're allowing it to go somewhere into the flour, and then you burn it all the way through.
That was like I said, that was the greatest explanation that I had of why it's just a little piece and not the whole thing. And once again, that he is a disruptor. He's a disruptor. There's these things like hash holes out of the RollPros. I mean, I don't know. You guys solved this a lot faster than I ever thought you guys were going to. So it's going to be a long time before they can figure out how to do the hash hole in there. And then you guys did it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we were already rolling it, and that was the harder part, right? Is like rolling the flour, and that's why you have this nice even density all the way down, is because we're actually like rolling the flour, and then we're adding the paper. So, Yeah, the hash was just kind of making sure that we had a process so that it, it stays centered and it doesn't, doesn't get too close to the edge.
Sick.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking impressive. I'm just glad that it happened today. When you just happened today, and then and we got to bring it on the show and to tell people about it, because that's just people. This is the future. This is the future of joint rolling. Now, this is a white paper. I think that you guys also have hemp papers.
Yeah.
Is it hemp papers?
Hemp wrap.
Hemp wraps. Okay.
Yeah, we have organic hemp, which is just like hemp paper.
Okay.
And then we have, this is like a rice paper. So this is like your standard elements paper. And then we have a like a natural brown paper. They all three come from France. That's where, that's like a hub for rolling paper. Okay. So really high quality. And then the hemp wrap, that's actually made stateside. It's made in upstate New York.
Okay.
But yeah, the hemp wrap gives it that blunt look. And we're I don't
say hemp, so it's like cannabis hemp.
Yeah.
Cannabis leaves.
Yeah.
Ground up.
Yeah. They
the
actually
stalk or anything, or is it part of the bud, or?
I think it's more it's a good question. I think they use post-extracted CBD hemp.
Okay.
And they turn it into a pulp.
Okay.
So it's a good question. I don't know if they have stalks and stems involved. I can ask them though. That's a good question. But yeah, they have a whole pulp mill, and they do like really small batches up in this really old. It's like it's from the 1800s. This old like paper mill in upstate New York.
Going back to Georgia Pacific.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man.
As you make paper.
Hey, it all comes.
Paper, all the scraps, nothing goes to waste.
Yeah.
We're gonna freaking process that, crunch it, grind it down, and bleach it if you want a white paper, and then and then put it in a sheet. And,
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And that's you might imagine I've become quite the paper connoisseur, over the years. I've got a method for testing paper where you light the paper in a wine glass, and then you just inhale like the smoke from the paper, and you get like a flavor profile. And hands down, OCB has been like the best paper that I've tried with on that method. And we're gonna start supplying their paper with our machines.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't understand it, okay, these things actually, when they get rolled together, okay, and then at the end there's a little knife, that sharp knife, as you can see, because this is very cool, and it cuts them in half, and then two joints roll. But this is actually how it's made, and the paper's from here all the way to the other side.
Yeah.
Now, question: where's by the way, I see the machine. Is it a roll down? Is there a roll underneath? And there's another knife that cuts it and applies a little glue, right? A little glue or something.
Well, so it's pre-glued paper. So there's already it's like a standard rolling paper in a booklet.
Okay.
And then you just activate it with water.
Okay, I got you.
So we've got a little like swing arm and we've got a little water reservoir. Yeah, just
touches it. Okay, I got you. And it touches the paper, and then it rolls. Okay, interesting. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That was a good, cool part.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite little like mechanisms, right? Like, cause a
little sponge.
Yeah.
Like a little tiny sponge, because you just gotta.
Just enough.
Right amount. Right. Can't be too much. Right. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So hey, don't let the water run out of that RollPros. That's pretty cool. All right. So what's the joints, all kinds. By the way, they can, like, I don't know if I said this earlier, you can put glass tips for these big boys right here. Actually, this is pretty balanced now, but if you have a ceramic tip on this thing feels like you can almost like do a workout with this thing. It's pretty heavy. It's like, wow, this is massive. You can almost beat somebody up with it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like, that's a joint. I think these big boys kind of do need that one, because this is a 2 gram joint. You're going to share it. So it comes with a ceramic, paper, ceramic, or glass tip. And then obviously the glass tip and the ceramic would be reusable. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then we have joints, 2 grammers. Those are like grammers.
Mm-hmm.
Hash holes. What's the future? What do you want to do now?
You know,
I'm sure you're going to come with a keef applier. Pretty soon. A little
I
thing
know.
from paintbrush, and
Oh,
then
that's
and then poof some
yeah.
keef into there.
Oh, they got those. I still like the hash hole was that was the holy grail.
Dude, that is
You know
insane.
what I mean?
That's
Like
insane.
that's
Yes.
the best form of like infused pre-roll. Yeah, oh yeah. We're definitely gonna light this thing up.
Here
Yeah.
pretty soon. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Remember what happens when I smoke before the show? I start sweating. I start sweating like shit.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
We got to discuss that, because the glue is throughout the paper. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we covered that.
Yeah, and it weighs it. So that was another kind of thing that I don't think people realize is like you lose when you're filling cones, you always have to overfill it. And if you're overfilling by 0.1, 0.2 grams, like
It adds up.
Yeah, that's your bottom
It
line.
adds up. It
Yeah.
adds up.
And so weighing it, you just get more joints per pound. It's like your yields go up. The product is more consistent. So yeah, that was another part of the machine, as you mentioned, like that. We weigh the flour prior. Yeah.
I know of three. I know of three RollPro machines that are out. I know one is here at Sweets in Sacramento. Happens to be about an eighth of a mile from me.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Yeah.
The other one is in the Bay with James Loud and Zach.
Yep.
And then I believe you got one for the Jungle Boys.
Yeah,
Jungle
yeah.
Boys got one. Okay,
Yep.
they got one, so that's cool.
Pat and Roach. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And where do we have them just about in every state, just about, or
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got
how many are there?
there's 230.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
I didn't expect to hear that number.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me like 15, 20,
Yeah.
30.
Oh no.
230 machines.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I need a loan, Fred.
I know.
Because
Well,
those things are cheap, baby.
no. So Cali, it's funny, we do best in like legacy or older markets
Okay.
because the consumer has gotten better educated. And so like Oregon probably is we have the most machines in Oregon
you?
because
Okay, I got you.
yeah, and it's crazy, like you go into the store and it's like everything's RollPros.
Okay.
And it's like, and they're commanding, 20 to 30% more than all of like the cones. And so it's like, they've totally like leveled up, and the consumer has too.
Okay.
They know like they know what they're going to get when they get a pack of rolled joints.
What's the commission on a machine? What's the commission if I sell a
Yeah, I
machine?
see. Yeah.
Because before I met him or I knew about it, hey, somebody tried to sell me a machine. It's like, and then somebody else told me, hey, there's a commission. So I'm trying to find a commission because hey Kim,
Yeah.
hey
yeah,
Kim, you sell one to True Leaf yet?
No. Well, actually, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know.
Hey Kim, watch the podcast. I want to know how many you buy because this is the future. Get away from the cones. Get away from the cones.
Yeah.
So let me know how many you buy, by the way. Okay, Kim, let's talk. Okay, I'm on my commission. Pay up, sucker. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, a lot of my that's the best sale is when your customer like just can't help but talk about how great their machine is.
Yeah, fucking word of
Like,
mouth, baby. I'm saying that's
yeah.
the best form of flattery. So like when I tell people all the time, when you guys post, tag me so I can repost it. It helps me, helps you.
Totally.
It helps both ways.
Well, and that's the thing is like there's so many equipment manufacturers, and like some of them give us a bad name. Some of them are real snakes,
Really?
Yeah, like, well, I don't want to talk about
Dude,
them
230
too much.
machines. I'm still stuck on that number. Holy shit, that's a lot of fucking machines. I'm trying to do the math. Computation, calculus, trigonometry, all the shit we talked about before. It's like, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is great. And like Massachusetts is another good one for us. They have a lot of machines there. It's just like once the consumer realizes, because really I'm not going after pre-roll sales necessarily. I'm going after the guy that's still buying flower and hand rolling because they don't trust the pre-rolls, like, and I was the same way, as a smoker. I still would buy weed because I knew, oh, this is good weed. This is gonna be a great joint. Oh, but once I figured out, like, oh, these guys always have a good joint. It's rolled on my machine, and
brand comes down to brand loyalty.
Totally,
Brand
totally.
loyalty. You know what I'm saying? These guys always have good product. You tried the, and even if, like, there's guys who will buy a pre-roll and they'll cut it open just to see
Oh yeah,
the product. You know what I'm
do
saying?
it.
The product.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. I mean, you sacrifice that one. And listen, you're not going to waste it because you're going to put it in a can. Remember we talked about at the beginning?
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst. No bong or no pipe. Go get a can.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
make your own. Remember to scrape. You can scrape the paint.
Yeah,
Scrape
yeah.
the paint. Paint off the can before you smoke.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the shit we did. But anyway, if you find a brand that that you enjoy, that you like their flower, and you become brand loyal to that to that brand. And like I said, we're gonna do pre-rolls, and it's all gonna be all bud.
Yeah.
We don't put the shake. We don't put none of that stuff. That goes to extraction.
Yeah.
And it's called cured resin. But so super dope.
Yeah, and that's I'm all for using every part of the buffalo. Like I'm all
Yep.
for, like, let's use. I get why people put trim and dry shitty weed in their pre rolls. I get it. But it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
And
And also something that I saw at Sweets, or I saw somebody had it, is you also offer people a packaging. You sent me a little a box that have these pretty cool boxes. That has all the necessary things to pass child proofing in California and stuff like that. But it looked just like a box of cigarettes.
Yep.
And then also the tin, that
Yep.
you can actually have your joints with you and sit on them in your pocket because it's protected by the tin. This is, by the way, something that I stole from. Shout out to Maven. This is Maven, but it's not Miami Mango. I put a sticker on it, but I'm telling you, it's Maven. And then this is kind of what This is what the future is going to be. These happen to be the ones that I didn't have any of these. These were the half grammars.
Yep.
Kind of almost look like Virginia Slims. They don't have logos on there yet. Maven, I covered your logo again. I'm sorry, buddies. I'm sorry, because I do like the box, though. Check it out. Yeah, I'm plugging you.
Yeah.
I like the box. This is not as hard as a tin, but this is pretty cool. But this is the future of cannabis, people. Get a joint, put it out here and smoke. You put it on here or down here. He could sit on it. But this is the future of cannabis right there.
Yep.
What else do we got? What else do we got?
Yeah. So packaging, that's a thing. I'm always going to be doing more upgrades to the machine. So this, the tipper, hash holes.
Besides the bigger joints, to the big ceramic tips, and then the branding, the tipper, you call it, what other improvements did you do to the double XL that the Blackbird didn't have, or that you saw that needed improvement?
Yeah, the biggest was just way more flour, right? And then there were some innovations around running the hemp wrap.
Okay.
So that was hard. I don't know if you've ever rolled a blunt, but blunt paper is far less forgiving, and you really got to, like, wet it,
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so the hemp wrap, which people had been talking to us about for a long time, they're like, we need blunts. That's another shout out to Brian Childs. He was like, Cali needs blunts. I'm like, all right.
That's the guy that works for you. That's your sommelier.
Yeah.
Or the tester. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. There's the people that like the blunt wraps. I personally don't like the blunt wraps. I like if I'm going to smoke a joint, I want the true only taste of that flower.
Totally.
There is the people that like the blunt wraps. Okay.
Yeah, it's the look and but it's there were some hurdles there, making sure that we could get it to stick, had the right glue, same back to, like, adhesive testing, and I'd say that those were two. And then feeding the big glass tips, like, that was another.
I see the way that the tips, it doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to me when they pour the tips into this thing. Kind of like a seed counter, but the tips travel up.
Yeah.
And this cone, for the vibration, they travel up How did you design that one? It doesn't make
Ah.
sense. Because they would have came down. No, they vibrate up.
Yeah, so that's called a vibratory bowl feeder, and they use it in automation everywhere. So and the cool thing is it's kind of like art. So the way that these guys would design them is like you're trying to feed a little part, up into another machine, but as it's going up the track, so it uses vibration, and what it does is it's pushing slower in one direction then faster retract. So if you
Oh, that's how it moves it the opposite way.
Yeah,
And
so
it goes against gravity.
yeah, and I use it for the feed trays too, for feeding the flour.
Yes. Okay.
I once I discovered these vibratory feeders, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
This is
I'm
the
gonna
food. Game over.
I'm gonna use this everywhere. And they're expensive, it's like it's made for big automation equipment, but when it solves a problem and it's so sophisticatedly, I'm like, I gotta
It just
use
tripped
it.
me out. I mean, whenever something vibrates, it goes down. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch Gold Rush and these guys, if you guys watch Gold Rush, these guys are putting the sand on this vibratory thing, and the kind of that round thing, and the gold's kind of heavy is going down and separating.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And anything else, and this thing's, I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, dude, this shit's going uphill. But it makes sense now the way that you explain it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what other possible improvements? Because it looks pretty good. What other possible improvements could you make to this thing?
I think the next steps is going to be post the machine. So, handling the joints or the blunts after they come off.
Packing them.
Packaging.
As
you
soon
know what
as I say that, packing them into a freaking like a
Yeah.
fucking
Because that's
cigarette packaging.
Yeah,
Yes.
because most everybody has they're like, we love the machine, it's great, we're making 200,000 joints a month, but all of the people that were making joints, now they're packaging packages, and so they just kind of
We want to fire them too. No, just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. Don't like
No.
I was only kidding. I was only kidding. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yes, that makes sense. As soon as I asked that, you
Yeah.
figure the joints there, and because I know how the Tupperware thing, but then somebody's got to put them in. It's another
Yep.
touch point. Hate to
Exactly.
say it, but it's just
Yep.
money. But it just makes sense that that's the progression
Yep.
to put it into a packaging. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, just moving it
Automated,
down.
yeah.
The hard part with packaging, though, is everybody wants something different, So,
Yes, but
right.
they have to provide it to you. As long as it's the same machine, which you're going to capitalize on that, I'm sure. It goes, okay, you got to buy our packaging. Like you buy the rolls, it goes through us, and then now you becoming a manufacturer of packaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that it is what it is.
Yep.
You want to use this machine, you got to use what's compatible. And, know the sizes. You have your 13 mils or your 12 mils, your 11 mils, the little ones, and then this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I see where you're going. I see where this is going. All right. Pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's all dope, man. This is such a fun industry too. Like I love meeting people that were disruptors, or that were told, they'll never amount to anything.
Yep.
Or they're burnt out in white collar business world, and they're like, fuck it, I'm going to go make a name for
Yeah,
myself.
you smoke weed, you're never gonna make it. Yeah, I've heard that
There's,
before.
there's so many
I've heard
guys.
that before. And, by the way, we met at in Las Vegas.
Yep.
At it was a party, and you brought the machine there, and you were just rolling away joints and handing them out, and I was like, fucking, this thing's fucking pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But it boggled my mind, like, wow, this thing's. There's somebody actually, because I told you, Troll Master, we brought a guy that gadgets over there, and we're looking to have another machine to learn how to defoliate and also how to roll joints, and I don't think they want any part of it, any part of it. And we went to MJ Biss, to look at these things, and it was just, I think they weren't interested, they weren't interested at that time, and I don't think they're gonna be interested. Your machine is fucking badass. So, all right, great question. So, we were talking before that your equipment's modular, okay, and it's pretty digital, automated. In TroMaster, Mangotech store, we have a tech support board in the back office back here that sometimes people can't figure stuff out. Whether it's putting it together, so it's post sale service. They can't figure out how to hook it up or operate it, and then we have a FaceTime through Instagram, through support, because that's the best way. Hands down. I mean, you can try to email somebody or talk to them on the phone. No, the best way is say, listen, you have a phone, go to the controller. We go to our controller and we go hand in hand. Push this button, push that button. Let me see the machine. Let me see the controller. Yeah. Let me see the connections. So you guys have a tech support, and it's based out of
Vancouver, Washington.
Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, 100%. I've got 3 in-house techs. One's on the East Coast, so he can get up early and serve those guys. But yeah, the exact same thing. It's like you got a machine issue, or you got something that got out of whack. Like, I've actually got a QR code on the machine. You can scan it, schedule an appointment. Usually it's like within a couple, 30 minutes.
Sick.
Get on a call with our tech. They've seen everything. We got 200 machines in the wild. We've seen every
That's
single.
what I tell people. Listen, what he just said.
Yeah.
A lot of people DM me for tech support. I got guys back there that get paid to do this all day long. They know more problems, solutions to problems than I do, because nowadays I run a businesses and they're on the phone solving problems. Call tech support.
Totally.
It'll be faster than trying to reach me on the DM.
Yeah, and I will say the same thing. You got a Blackbird, call my tech support. That's what they love it. They love
That's
these
what
calls.
they do. Yes. Guess what? If there's a problem that they haven't seen, you know what? They're all going to talk to each other, call engineers, figure out an answer for you, and then they're all going to tell each other what the problem or the issue and what the solution was.
Yeah.
And so those are the right guys to actually get contact. Contact tech support.
Yep.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Contact tech support first, because that's what you call me. I'm gonna say, hey, contact this guy.
Yeah.
I got
Exactly. Yeah, this is kind of like an old philosophy, but take care of your customers.
100%.
And like I
1,000%.
I get mad at freaking my LG dishwasher when I file a service claim. I'm like, what? I got it. You wait 2 weeks and you get an email back, and no. Like, you gotta be there for your customers so that when they're a little freaked out or they got a problem, you want to help them right then.
Washing dishes, he can put them in the sink and wash them like freaking cultivation. You have your controller, your lights are not coming on. You got a cash crop.
Yeah.
That needs light.
Yeah.
That needs AC. It needs this, needs that, and the other. Do you think they call you panicking?
Yeah.
They call me panicking.
Totally. Yeah. They're
can't get the whole room. The whole room shut down. They start yelling. I said, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let's work through this. Because I did tech support for years too when I first started.
So did I.
Yeah.
Man, I was driving around. Oh my gosh, I did all the tech support, and when you take care of your customers like that, they tell people about it.
Appreciate it. They love you. I said, you're the best.
Do.
I'm going to tell everybody to go buy 20 Blackbirds.
Totally.
What about Europe? Are you in Europe?
We haven't cracked Europe yet.
Okay.
I've got, I'm talking to a lot of the guys in the Netherlands. They're pretty into it. And
Europe's going to crack as soon as they get off this fucking medical GMP shit. I mean, dude, it's fucking weed, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we used to smoke it out of a fucking can. Europe. Yo, we used to smoke weed out of a can. Okay, scrape the can.
Yeah.
The weed traveled in some fucking freighter's gas tank, or in between a bunch of swordfish, freaking half fish blood. Why? How do I know that? Because I used to get the bales and take the freaking fish shit on the side and whatever. And it was compressed. Sometimes there was lizards in between the fucking shit. And we smoked all that shit through the years. And I'm good.
Hey, look at us.
I'm good.
Look at us.
I'm good.
Okay.
Bunch of freaking can heads later. You know what I mean? So Europe, get off the fucking GMP, GACP, whatever the heck it's called. And it's weed, bro. It's weed. I mean, freaking everybody smoked it for a long time, and it's get off of it. I think once Europe gets off that shit, and they kind of allow you branding, kind of like Florida's, True Leaf is a little white plain jar, like you go into the drugstore, and then Miami Mango, cannabis or whatever it is. But the branding is what, you know what I mean? Is the next level for Europe, and probably once that happens, then they're going to open up to the other stuff like the pre-rolls, and then also the concentrates, because everything over there is like it says GACP or GMP, GACP. They gotta like do every step. It takes forever to get to that. A lot of money and investment to get to that. So eventually you'll, when Europe comes, and this industry is still really in its infancy. I mean, not every state is legal here in the U.S. I mean, not every state's legal, and it's only a few countries that is acceptable. You can even grow it. Some you can sell it. Some you can only import it. Colombia just finally, which is one of the drug capitals of the world, where I'm from, they export a bunch of cannabis to Europe. Just now, they're starting to let you sell it in a store with a prescription from a doctor to sell weed to call them patients, customers in Colombia. It's crazy. So this industry is in this real infancy. There's a lot more to come. And what's the future for RollPros after packaging?
Yeah, worldwide expansion, right? I think the real thing is just kind of the paradigm shift in the market that we're trying to change, right? Is like get off the cones, try the straight rolled. It's a higher quality flower, higher quality 100%. Smoke, and it's just like that's my whole thing. Is like I love to see people's minds change, and I saw yours change, like I saw when you saw the machine, and when real heads, like real stoners, like see the machine, they're like, fuck, fuck, he did it, like
he did it, yes, yeah, because that was a challenge. That was a fucking challenge.
Oh yeah, and so I just want everybody. I want every smoker to try these joints and fall in love with the pre-roll again, because I think we all got kind of burned by the early pre-rolls out there. And
I think you got it on the money. For the weed, the caliber of the weed that's on a pre-roll that's straight, it's got to be better than the cone, because it's not dried and it would fall out. It needs to be sticky, so it would just fall out. If it was dried, it would just fall out of the joint. So if you guys know, your good quality pre-roll versus low quality pre-roll, and then I'm going to make sure I say this, there is a place for cones. It's for low quality herb, and there's some people that can only afford, that. So and that's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But for those people that, are expecting a better quality flower, RollPros is the way to go.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
But for those people that don't know how to get a hold of you, please shout out to that camera. To how do they get a hold of you? Instagram, Facebook, or the interweb website?
Yep. Yeah. So you can find us on the internet. Website's rollpros.com. Follow us on Instagram. It's just RollPros. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's just Kyle Loucks, Loucks. And find us. Reach out. I still do all my virtual demos. So like I run the machine behind me. You call in. Ask me whatever question you want. I actually truly enjoy that. Call, schedule a demo, and pick my brain.
There you go. You heard it here. Now, if you buy RollPros because you watch this podcast, you'll tell him to give me a cut.
I got you.
Okay, a shameless plug. I'm always trying to make a cut somewhere. I even got 5% signs on my gazebo outside the facility. It says, if you do any cannabis business under this gazebo, Mango gets 5%. Wait till I get the food truck over there.
Oh, shit, I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you got to laugh. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, this concludes the podcast with Kyle from RollPros. You guys heard him. We gave you the whole lowdown. The newest and greatest tool in the cannabis industry. I think is revolutionized pre-rolls. He is a disruptor. I think he liked that name. It wasn't a bad name. I don't think it was a bad name. And lastly, let's thank our sponsors, Trollmaster, the future of intelligent farming, just like RollPros is the future of the roll of the pre-rolls, I think really the best LED lights out there for any horticulture, whether you're growing cannabis or fruit products or any vegetables or anything horticulture. Uh, Mango Juice, if you're not juicing, you're losing. And lastly, Mango Tech Store for providing a great backdrop for a wonderful podcast. Kyle, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, my
Yeah.
man. I think that was good.
Great.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right. That was good. I think that was